All right, so we're in here. This is Trump and the global economy, Trump and the G for short. And I'm the shock exchange, of course. It's been a while. Been pretty busy, pretty tied up on other things. And fans have been asking for when my next video is going to be. They want my take on the Trump administration, the economy, stock market, um, different my reactions to a lot of the moves Trump is making, administration is making. They make a lot of moves that's taxing the court, getting the district courts to respond, getting the Supreme Court to respond, and he's moving at breakneck speed in terms of his agenda, what he promised the American people he would do. But right now, the most talked about issue is the Clipse. Pusha T and Malice did their first album together in like 16, in like I think 16 years, and Malice is pushing Pusha T to step up his game, and vice versa. They're both pushing each other, and they came up with a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece. Not only is the album of the year, but this is a masterpiece. They gave a highlight a couple months ago, or precursor to what was to come with I think Chains and Whips, and showed some clips from a Louis Vuitton fashion show they had done over in Paris, and they clapped back at Jim Jones, and Nan's out that they have a feature with Kendrick Lamar on that song. Phenomenal. I heard the snippets of Chains and Whips months ago. I heard when they came out with Ace Trumpets. I wasn't really that impressed at first, but then you listen to it over and over again. They put out heat, and they have something to say, and they're saying it. So be it. FICO, Mike Tyson, blow to the face. Ace Trumps again, Chains and Whips, so be it. Those are some of the top songs on there. And but one thing that a lot of people missed, I think, the thing about uh, the Clipse, they put out heat. They're rapping on this album, and they have something to say, and they're making the fans step their game up, making the fans have to really listen to it to figure out what they're saying. They're not just making mumble rap. They have something to say, and they're raising the consciousness of the fans and the hip hop community. This is a tough act to follow. And a lot of these experts, like Get in Hip Hop, Anthony Fantano, I think Screwface John, No Life Shack, and all these guys are there to help explain to the fans. Vibezilla, another one I missed. Explain to the fans what these rappers are saying and what some of the subliminals are, and what they're saying about other rappers. Because they clap back at Jim Jones, Drake, Travis Scott, and these YouTube guys help us interpret that. I think they may even say something. Maybe clap back and made references to Lil Wayne. But the one thing people missed was on EBITDA. Was a shout out to Shock Exchange. Um, and the program I was running called New York Shock Exchange. We were teaching kids how to pick stocks and how to value companies. And also to my book, Shock Exchange, Inner City Kids from Brooklyn Predicted the Great Recession and the Pain Ahead. And the clips are from VA. I'm from VA. They put out heat. I put out heat. So here's Anthony Fantano, who gave this album a 10, struggling with trying to understand what they meant by EBITDA. I'm going to try to share my screen.
Those weird little kind of warbly little synth chords were a real nice touch. But yeah, that was a short and sweet banger. All right, now what? Another acronym, EBITDA. Well, let's find out what this one stands for. Here we go.
I mean, the air's like vitamin C. I mean, yellow like bright as a bee. I mean, the sun like bright as can be. F80 not you tied to me. Just to get from A to B.
Yo, it is crazy to me, like how much. There's got to be some insanity going on. Like especially on Twitter. I just don't trust what I see on Twitter anymore. Not that there's like no reason to trust like Twitter ever on anything ever. Like nothing that you read or see is real, because like after this album leaked, and I did not listen to the leak, obviously I did not listen to the leak. Like my feed was just full of tweets just being like, this album sucks. This album's trash. What's wrong with Pharrell on this album? this is the worst thing I've ever heard. This is this album's like embarrassing. It's like, what the fuck? Like, is anybody actually genuine about anything on here? Is just everybody rage baiting now? Is just the entire Twitter sphere rage baiting? Is anybody like meaningfully meaning any? Is anyone sincere about anything? I mean, maybe it is some Drizzy fans, but like part of me thinks that like, are they even listening to the album? They're probably not even listening. You think fans going out of their way to download a whole Clipse?
Anyway, but Anthony Fantano gave the album a 10. So everybody has something to say, even the Drake fans. But EBITDA is short for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. And so what it does is like on another term for operating income. So what it does is help as a metric for valuing companies. And later on in the song they said we pay 10 times EBITDA, 10 times EBITDA. So it's how you value companies. And what it does, it shows two companies. It helps you evaluate two companies, totally two different capital structures. So, for instance, Company A could have EBITDA of $20 million. Company B could have EBITDA of $40 million. But Company B could have a lot more debt, a mountain of debt. It could also have more capital expenditures. So it could have more interest expense, more depreciation, amortization. It could have a different tax rate depending on what state it is in, depending on what jurisdiction it's in. Because a lot of these big companies now are trying to outsource a lot of their operations in lower tax rate areas, like Ireland, for instance. So if Company A has EBITDA of, again, 30 million, Company B has EBITDA of 50 million, but Company A has net income of 10 million, Company B has net income of 10 million. Who do you, are they equally valued? Do you pay the same price for both? No, you don't. Company B with a higher EBITDA, you pay more for, even though it has similar earnings, maybe even less earnings, and you adjust for the amount of debt and the interest expense, and the difference in tax rate, and the difference in capital expenditures. And so we talk about that with the kids I was coaching New York Stock Exchange, and I wrote about it in my book, Stock Exchange: How NSC Kids from Brooklyn Did the Great Recession and the Pain Ahead. Here it is, the book that everybody's talking about. It's the book that got everybody geeked, even the Clipse. And also talk about EBITDA a lot on my blog. I write for Seeking Alpha under the name Stock Exchange. And Clipse is obviously a big fan. That's the one thing a lot of fans are missing. That he gives a big shout out to the Stock Exchange, and I'm flattered by it. I'm flattered. The Clipse are big fans. I'm big fans of the Clipse, and obviously big fans of me, Trump and the G, and also big fans of my book Stock Exchange: How NSC Kids from Brooklyn Predict the Great Recession and Pain Ahead. But the thing about the Clipse is that they're making people think, they're bringing the fans up, making the fans come up to their level, and they're raising fans' consciousness. They're not coming down to the fans' level. And they're on a totally different, when they start talking about EBITDA, I pay 10 times the EBITDA. They're talking about buying companies. They're talking about doing deals. They're talking about beyond music, probably film, TV, fashion, what have you. They're talking about doing big deals. They're beyond just beefing with other rappers. They're raising the consciousness of the fans, just like Public Enemy, Eric B and Rakim used to do back in the day. So they have something to say, and they said it. This is a classic, and we appreciate the shout out from the Clipse, and we happy. Shock is happy that we were able to help them. Happy to be a part of that of a classic album. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.